The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
This is day 7 of the permanent supports towards Ukraine that has hit Georgia's main avenue here in front of the Georgian parliament in support of Ukraine and Ukrainian people. Right now, behind me, you see how volunteers are trying to pack the things that they have volunteered for the Ukrainian people. What you are reading on that sign over there is the humanitarian help center for the Ukraine, and you can read there, Peace for Ukraine.
This is the bare minimum we can do for the Ukrainian people, and whole world should know that we are brothers, and the war is really devastating, and it is hard, and this is really the least we can do for now.
So that's how it looks from over here. What kind of feeling is that when you're standing there with the big mic in your hands and you see all these people permanently? When the checkpoint will be airing, it will be 9th day of the full permanent protest. What kind of feeling is that?
So yeah, it's a mixed feeling, because at the same time you feel profoundly proud because Georgian people chose to speak up when their government chose to be silent, and at the same time you kind of feel a deep shame because of our special relations with Ukraine. Well, it is argued that we have a port in city, right? And the reason the port and Poti is under Georgian jurisdiction is because of Ukrainian interference back in 1993. When we had this war with Russia, proxy war with Russia, with separatists. Then it was 2008 when President Yushchenko stood right here, maybe right here. When the Russian tanks were in, I don't know, 20 kilometers, not from the capital, from Rustaveli Avenue, from the place he was standing, with all the Eastern European leaders. And then there is this Georgian panache of helping out these friends, and even enshrined in the Night in the Pandar's Skin in famous Shota Rustaveli poem, when Avtandili, the main character, leaves his will, and he explains that, okay, I'm saying no to this precious life of being king, married to king's daughter and everything, because I have my friend to save. And this is very deeply engraved into, like, it's not just subject of schools. It's just Georgians may not have much, but at least we have Shota Rustaveli building a role model of Georgia, right? And then there we have a PM who says that, who repeats Russian propaganda, saying that the West abandoned Ukraine, that sanctions don't work, and so on and so on.
And he translates this to his people, that this is pragmatic and national interest. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I will not be...
We saw what these people have to say to that.
We saw what they have to say. I'm not very original in that idea. It goes back to Churchill. Like, when you have a choice between freedom and security, and you choose lose the security. You will lose both freedom and security. And it was not a choice against security, to be frank, right? Because nobody expected him to be very brave and join sanctions. Okay, we could be realist and totally understand that, like 94% of grain comes from Russia, and now if we say, okay, we close the borders, well, then the next question is, how do we bake the bread, right? But nobody expected him to be so like brave and like as brave as Great Britain, but he could be at least as brave as the president of Georgia, Salome Zurabishvili, and support, give the words of support, words of condolence, and nobody asked him whether Georgia is going to join sanctions or not.
That was his position.
Yeah, he chose to speak up about that in the circumstances like this.
We're feeling awful because our friends, our relatives, our brothers and sisters need to hide in basements right now because Russians drop bombs onto our cities, claiming that it's just a special military operation. But in fact, it's war right now. And unfortunately now we have problems with food in Kyiv. There is no food in markets, and it's quite difficult right now for us to be here because we can't get home and we need to stay here and protesting every day, just being afraid about our friends and relatives. Are they okay?
The message we want to say to the Ukrainian people firstly is that we are not our government, we are better than our government. It is what Volodymyr Zelensky tweeted, and we are fully in line with it because our government did absolutely nothing in order to help or support Ukraine, and we decided to be vocal when government chose to stay silent. To be honest, I couldn't even believe my eyes when I saw this many people in the streets protesting for 8 days.
On the first call.
Yes, on the first call. Yes. And it shows the world that Georgian people have distanced themselves from Russia. We know what Russian aggression means. We've seen Russian aggression in 2008, but it didn't stop there. We are living under ongoing creeping occupation. Our citizens are getting kidnapped from our so-called borders. They are getting arrested or shot. So yeah, we know what Ukrainians are going through right now.
Well, I'm texting to my dad and to my mother, who are really in basement just now in Kharkiv, and I'm telling them that there are so many people in Georgia who are trying to help us, and I hope they are happy to see that and happy to know that they are not alone.
I'm here to support Ukraine, of course, and this means also to support Georgia and to support peace and freedom in the world. Georgia's economy, unfortunately, was more and more integrated with Russian economy recently, and I was very much against all this, and I was always saying, I was writing about this, that Russia is not a normal partner and they will be using this integration for their political things. So unfortunately this will start very soon. This close ties with Russia will destroy some of our sectors. It's very painful, I understand, but we need to diversify our economy as much as possible to not to be dependent on Russia.
Yes, and that's one tool where we can fight it.
Yeah, absolutely. If Ukraine fails, then more hooliganism will be spread in the world, and there are more events around already, and we can expect that there will be no peace, no freedom in the world if we don't stop this very soon.
Economic sanctions are not the thing which will take an immediate effect, unfortunately. But I hope that their analysts, their financial managers will calculate the things and make a right decision. Because it probably would be really catastrophic for Russia, not only for financial markets of Russia, but also for cultural interconnections with Europe, with all the Western world. So we see the rhetoric that they will survive even in this case. They will reorient to change the direction of their context toward Asia. But to be honest, I don't think that it's a right way for Russia.
The least I can do, I will just tell you, Slava Ukraini, Героям слава.
Героям слава.
Героям слава.
Thank you.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.